Name again?
Yeah, I remember yeah. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I
Like the Bible, maybe
All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everyone. What are we giving away today? We have some giveaways, y'all.
We're doing two today. Woo! Here on time. So, good giveaways today. The first one. Carla is giving away a copy of the 7-level book signed. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. If you want to start coming to our class, great. Of course, we're doing a Starbucks gift card. And this is like buy me coffee. Right up on.
Here we go.
Okay, for the book, Ron.
I got this book.
Interested in taking her class, we'll talk a little bit more into that, who would be interested in this book.
I already have. It's the way I want to. It's the way I want to do business. The challenging part is Carla is that she gets you going and doing the right thing. That halfway through the course, too busy. So it's definitely, and it's the way I want to conduct it. Building those relationships, being a connector, and having them race to the relationship versus transaction.
All right.
Right.
Like that. I teach you find one good.
All right, do that.
All right.
Do it.
We're looking at coffee club. Here we are. Oh, Wendy. Wendy needs a little coffee. All right, guys. Rock and roll, rock and roll. All right, we always move into Gratitude Tuesday. Who has something that they would like to share that they're grateful for this week? We're not going to do this on that. Gratitude. All right. I'm grateful because interest rates are going down.
I'm not sure how many people know this, but I created my own networking group when I came into real estate full time in January. And it's almost completely full. It's an all women networking group. But on Monday, I actually had 2 additional people that were added to my group. We were 20 and we are at 17. So super, super excited about that. And it was a fabulous networking group.
What other types of women are you looking for?
Right now, I need a photographer and I need a financial planner is what I'm looking for right now to fill the 2 seats that are still open up.
And you're looking for a woman.
And it has to be a woman.
Has to be a woman.
It has to be a woman, yeah. Or man in a really good wig.
Yeah.
A really good wig.
Already that
I'm sure there is.
All right. Anyone else that wants to share something to do with gratitude?
I would like to share, I'm from the Edina office. I want to thank everybody for having me. I might transfer over here. I'm not sure. I live in Minneapolis. It's only 15 minutes to get here. It's really handy. So I love it here. So thank you all for being welcoming and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna take it up a notch. We have stuff we gotta cover. I want you to welcome up the guy who's responsible for the interview. No, you're welcome to the right word. Mark, I appreciate the fact that you're keeping us abreast to the interest rates. Because they do help let us know what we're doing and how we can have conversations with you. Thank you for keeping us in the know on the interest rates, even though you're not lowering them.
Oh, but.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, unfortunately, rates aren't, going the direction that we, everyone thought that they would go, and Fed dropped, the rates a half a point a couple weeks ago. So, for those of you that get this, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I mean, there's a bunch of things here. So a lot of times I get questions, hey, you guys got pretty good rates. What is the rate? These are not our rates, just for the record. These are meant to give you all a good guide. Which way are rates going? Which way are they trending? Along with this, normally, we'll give you a quick synopsis, something that isn't going to take a half an hour to dissect. It's usually a 3-sentence blurb about here's what's happening and why. So you can quickly tell your customers which way rates are going and why. It's not meant to be a super deep dive. If you want to do a deep dive, I'm welcome to, let's talk about rates and where they're going and, China's effect. But right now rates are going up. Like Nick said, unfortunately, this trend has been up. Our 10-year, our 10 years up to 4.2, which is the highest level since July, which is not good news. Even though the 10-year isn't our rate, it does have a direct correlation to what's going on, with the 30-year fixed rates. So, but anyway, this is sent out. I do send this out. I try to get it out, not to blow up your emails, but at least a couple times, maybe 3 times a week. So for those of you that get it and like it, obviously we'll keep sending it. If you want it, or you're going, what's this? If I miss somebody, if you want it, I'll certainly get you on the list. If you want to get it, and of course, obviously, I don't want to blow up your email if you don't want it, just unsubscribe and that's that. So, but I also want to mention, these are not our rates. Like I said, this rate is put out by the mortgage, MBS. It's a website. You can go out there and check it out yourself. It's not meant to be, hey, it also says, hey, Mark, the rates are good. They're pretty bad. I'm like, well, these aren't our rates. These aren't our rates. These are just meant to be a guide to kind of help you out, snapshot, where are they going on down. So with that said, let's go to the next one. I get this a lot. I get this asked by seasoned real estate people. What's the rate? I get this question all the time. What's the rate? Well, there's so many different rates that you can have. There's, for example, if somebody wanted like what I think might be the best interest rates out there, a lot of people don't realize you can do a 3% down home ready or home possible interest rate right now. I'll get, well, how is the person getting a rate locked in the 5s? Well, if you're a home ready or home possible, which is a first-time home buyer, conventionally, you can do 3% down and probably still, if you're able to pay a couple points, still get something in the 5%. Now, this was done 2 days ago, so rates have moved up a little bit. And again, these are not quoted interest rates, please, because technically there's APRs that need to be quoted, and I should be quoting closing costs. These are just meant to let you all know that, hey, already home possible, 3% down, first-time home buyer that's making under $100,000 could still get a rate in the 5s. Okay, people don't realize that everyone thinks, hey, 20% down, conventional loan, I'm going to get the best rate in town. Not true. You can get a better rate with 3% down, home ready, home possible. Home ready is Fannie Mae, home possible is Freddie Mac. And again, 3% down, under $100,000 is going to get a better interest rate than somebody that's a 20% down conventional buyer. A lot of times people go, huh? What, how is that? It's true. Home ready, home possible, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac offers a better interest rate to a first-time home buyer that makes under $100,000 per year. So again, I just put this together, or actually thank you, Sean, helping put this together. You'll notice the 5 3/4, it comes with 2 points. That's the other thing is, okay, what are you getting quoted for points? Okay, people say, well, I'm getting 5%. Well, are you paying a point? Are you paying 2 points? What's your cost of fee to do that? 0 points, 0 origination fee, 6.375. Okay, which is still a pretty good rate. Still a pretty good rate, especially when you factor in no points, no closing costs, right? So that's home ready, home possible. If you go down, I was just saying, 20% down, higher rate. 5.9 versus 5.7. same 2 points, 6.75 versus 6.3. No points, no origination fee. Everybody in the world thinks 20% down conventional is gonna get the best rate. Not true. Okay, and then you can take a quick look, same thing, FHA, VA. Lower credit scores, but the rates are pretty good. You know, there's nothing wrong doing an FHA loan. People beat up FHA loans, and not only they beat them up because of the appraisal and things like that, but interest rate wise, they're pretty good. You know, I know Lit does a lot of VA loans, Isaac does VA loans, and again, so those rates are good. I wouldn't shy away from a VA or FHA, you know, interest rate wise for sure. Mike, sorry.
Okay, first home buyer, someone who's technically not owned a home for years, correct?
Yeah, so this is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. So that version is you get into Minnesota housing, down payment assistance.
Okay.
That is gonna be first time home buyer forever. Yep, period.
Is there any version of the first gen where if a married couple, one spouse has never owned a house, her parents have never owned a house, but his parents have? Is there any version of the first gen they can use?
Yes, so MMCDC, this gets complicated, but MMCDC, they both need to be first time home buyers. Only one needs to be first generation. The definition of first generation is you or your parents have never owned a home here or in any other country. So one more time, so in MCDC, you both have to be first-time home buyers, but only one of you need to be first generation. Minnesota housing, that's different. Minnesota housing, which by the way, may run out of first-gen funds by the end of the year, both have to be first-time home buyers and first-gen, and that's where you get to the 3 years. You can't have owned a home in the last 3 years. And both of your parents need to have not owned a home here or in any other country.
You really need 3 tax years.
Yes, yes, 3 years. They say 3 years. So I assume 3 years from the date that you make application, but maybe tax years. I'm not sure what. That's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question. Everyone just says 3 years. You can't have owned a home the last 3 years. Tax years or from date of application. My guess would be from date of application, but I'm not sure. I find that. It'd be an easy question. It would make a difference for some people for sure. Correct. Well, correct. First generation is to never have a home ever. Correct. You have to be a first, again, there's 2 different first generation funds that are available. There's MMCDC, which is forgiven after 5 years. There's Minnesota housing. Half of it is forgiven after 10, and the remaining half is forgiven after 20. So the problem, but the MMCDC has to be fully underwritten, fully approved from a lender. Then you have to go get fully approved from MMCDC. So that whole process is taking, on average, a month and a half, 2 months. Get fully approved to be able to go MMCDC. Everybody wants it because it's forgiven after 5 years. Minnesota housing is a little bit faster. It's just normal Minnesota housing. You just meet with loan officer, you're solid, pre-approval letter gets issued. You could, in theory, be out looking for Minnesota housing first generation within a day, a week, couple weeks, depending upon how easy the loan is to pre-approve.
So is the MNCDC running out of money at the end of the year too, or just in Minnesota housing?
So yeah, so good question. And then CDC fund has $100 million, and they started about a month or 2 later than Minnesota housing. Minnesota housing had 50 million, and they started a little early. So based on how the money has been used so far, they're projecting right around the end of the year that could be gone. And there's going to be a problem with some people who are counting on it, who are out looking. The last person, first come, first serve is gone. Whereas in CDC, you go through the whole process. You have your funds reserved. You only have 90 days once you're reserved to find your house, and it expires. But at least your funds are reserved, you know you're gonna get them. Minnesota housing, you many people out looking for a house, and they're gonna run out of funds, it's gonna be a lot. Now, maybe they can switch it over to MFCDC, it's just gonna take a while to get approved. All I got.
One of the things that I think we come back to every week when we think about this is the easiest thing for you to do in your business is reach out to something that you know, like, and trust and can refer us. And I think that part of that is I see you meet with a lot of our people, and very specifically, I see you meeting with people that are consistently driving in the business, right? You're here at night, you're here on weekends, you're here late. And if you want to know why he's here late, it's because he's serving those people who need a little bit of an extra touch, right? So if you aren't having the closings that you need right now, if you're not meeting with people that are having an impact into what this year and what next year look like, chances are you're not having a really good conversation with them about where their mortgage is. And so don't do Mark's job with Mark, do Mark's job, and make it so that there's an easier handoff where you can still participate, but they're meeting with somebody they can get a real idea. And grateful that you're here and willing to take those meetings. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Young Lynn is here for her broker moment. No, no.
Yeah. Okay, just super quick, open houses. Who's done one in the last month? Okay, the rest of you, you're missing out. Open houses right now, I truly believe are really showing. We've got buyers out there that are catching on. They don't want to find anything, but they want to see a house. And they're showing up at our open houses. We've got a listing in Champlin, the Brooklyn Park in Champlin, that almost every showing we've had has been a buyer coming directly to us as a listing agent or through the open, and they've been real showing. Talk to the agents that have listings. I bet most of us would be happy to have you do an open house. Make sure they'll put it on the MLS so that you actually get traffic. And then ask them to post it on maybe Facebook or some other social media. While you're there, do a virtual open house, walk through, meet neighbors. I know they do classes here. We are not that good, to be honest. My team is not. We get there, we do it, we make every preparation for it. We make sure we print out the rate plug off the MLS so that we've got some ideas of payments for people. Have them sign in. It's not just for you to pick up clients, it's to protect your sellers who was in my house. But you can have a fabulous conversation, and if you don't get their contact information, it's not going to go in. I've talked to some other agents, text them as they leave. Thank you for stopping by. Any other questions, feel free, or here's my contact information. You're probably the only one that's going to do that. But take advantage of this moment of, commissions are kind of up in the air right now. Buyers don't know what to do. Now they got to sign paperwork. They're catching on. And I literally had a guy, what did he call? You were on a phone call. You want to know if he had to sign all that hoopla to get in the house? It was my listing. What hoopla did we have? And I'm like, guys, we can show it on behalf of the seller. When I start talking price, terms, and motivation, we got to go farther. We can open the door on behalf of the seller and show it. Please, I can't stress enough, you will pick up. I don't even want business from open houses, but right now I got 2 buyers that I got from open houses. Go work it. If you don't have any business, I sound like I'm preachy, I'm sorry, but try to do 2 open houses a week. It doesn't have to be Saturday and Sunday. For years I did Thursday nights. It was the night I was available. Wednesday night I had kids at church, Thursday night I could go do opens. Watch the hot open houses, can do those. So the HUD homes that are freezing there, yeah. You can hold a HUD house open. I always found those to be interesting. They're starting. They know our team has listings. What other teams here would have listings if someone wanted to hold them open? Lisa does, Isaac does, oh, Alex does,
I just posted today.
okay. You know, if some of these houses are vacant, they could do open both days, they could do open 10 to 12, 11. Schedule. But go there expecting to meet buyers that don't want to sign a lot of paperwork. Because that's kind of what they're getting thrown at them when they're trying to schedule showings. Have an agency there, have a touring agreement there, have buyer rep there, be compliant, but you can open the door for our brokerages listing on behalf of our seller without having to sign agreement. They start talking about, oh, I got pre-approved, and I got this much down, and I gotta be in a place by Christmas. Time out, you're talking price, terms, and motivation, we're gonna have to find something. But up until then, you can show the house, and you want them to talk, you want them to find.
What do they need to sign? Agency, obviously, but what else? Start talking.
Well, if they're talking price, terms, and motivation, I need some sort of a representation with you. Otherwise, be aware, everything you tell me, I have to tell the seller. I usually go to open houses, I'm sitting in this one, but you know what, here's 5 others in the neighborhood that I could show you. And here's just a little teeny short listing on each of them. Because I'm there to meet buyers. You know, if you wanna look at any of these, that'd be fabulous, but I have to schedule it and we have to sign something. I try to make sure I know, you know, what would the house payment on a house like this be? Well, let's look at my rate plug sheet. And that's, I tie it to the 2 lenders here at the office. So I kind of flip flop between them and I always have one at the table. That's why I was asking some of the first gen questions. I'm hoping Greg and I have an open house Sunday and I want to make sure I know the answers because there's a lot of money out there. Some of these down payment assistance programs are fabulous. You gotta have a hook and you gotta bait it. So if someone comes through your open house, you gotta have something to dangle and bait that hook with. Hey, maybe you qualify for some down payment assistance. I just took, you know, listened to my lender. You want updates on what, you know, interest rates are gonna be, have something, don't just, yeah, it's a nice 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 2-car garage, they didn't have any walking. Give them something they don't know. My train of thought. We usually have the lender that we're going to be using. Hey, I'm going to be doing an open house. Is it okay if I call you between these hours and these hours if anyone has real questions? I want a high altitude knowledge. I am not a lender. I don't want to pretend to be one. I don't want the liability of pretending to be one. But man, I can get one on speed dial right now. That's awesome. Last week when the police officer was here, I seriously, front door, back door unlocked. Make sure you have a way out. Keep safety in mind. We like doing it in pairs. I think that's huge. That's a huge change from when I started. Make sure someone knows where you are. And when people say, I don't want to sign in, you know, it is my seller's house, and they need to have a record of who's been in and out. If you don't want to be contacted, put that on the note. But I need you to sign in. And people don't really disagree with that. If they do, there's the front door. But they really don't. All right. Halloween, it'd be fun to have some tree bags, trick or treat, it'd be a treat to be your realtor, and let them take your business card to that Shipper's Bar. Any questions? But these open houses, 2 years ago, we were not preaching, I was not preaching about Keller Williams, but I was not preaching open houses. Today, I am preaching open houses. They are real showings for the sellers, and they are really real buyers out there, almost interviewing buyers agents at open house.
Yeah.
So be there.
Can I add to that real fast? Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
So even if you host an open house and no one shows up, Remember, this gives you posting opportunities. This gives you 2 hours or so where you don't have any other distractions. You can just get to work, you can make calls, you can catch up on real estate. So use it as a good opportunity, no matter what, where there's just no distraction. There's no excuses not to get work done, okay?
Hold on, Alec, keep the microphone. Keep the microphone. Lynn, if you want to say, you can. Okay, the question I'm gonna ask Alec is something that came up earlier today, and Alec was doing some research. Alec, we want to talk about what you found in price reductions recently.
Yeah, so North Star MLS on the dashboard has something called Market Watch. And every single day this updates, I like to look at the past 7 days, and I've been tracking this for my listing every single Monday. And I've been seeing price decreases from anywhere from the 1500s to all the way up to the 1900s for the MLS area, right? And so that means that a lot of price drops are happening every single week. That means we have to have the right conversation with our sellers of how long it might take to sell their home. If we're telling them 2 to 3 weeks, that's probably not a reality anymore, right? And if the home does not sell that fast, they're gonna blame you. You're the first one to go within that scenario. So prep and do your research, understand that the market is starting to change and homes are sitting there longer. On my listing alone, I have 22 other active listings within a mile of my property. This is information I'm giving to the seller every single week so that they understand what the market is doing and what I'm doing to sell their home, and that it's going to take longer. Okay?
Thank you so much for that. I think that when we here, please go ahead.
Shabbat.
You're not interrupting? They'd rather hear from you than me.
I just wanted to share something that was interesting in regards to this. So I just closed a property that I got a full price offer on after 30 days on the market. And then I got an offer, full price offer with closing costs on something that's 60 days on the market. I find this really interesting. I was thinking that I needed to do price reductions, but I think don't be so quick to move, and at the same time, be very diligent about paying attention. Like you gotta do both. It is taking longer.
You're absolutely right, Lisa. And so here's the thing. If you want to be an experienced professional, you want to be the resource of your people, isn't what Alex just told you a hell of a lot better than you just saying, oh, I think it's taking more time for homes to sell, right? I don't know. We had one of our own agents list his own property and struggle to sell it. Only struggled because he was impatient with it, right? To be honest, because I'm sorry, but you were impatient. And I've been telling you from the beginning, pump your brakes. This is a more traditional market cycle. What are some of the in the past, Lynn? What are some of the listing contracts that you did, or any of you, in the past before 2019?
Oh, you mean like in the history?
Yeah, like 6-month living agreements,
Totally.
a year, depending on, right?
When it started in the business, I had to pay them about
14 months on the market.
Hey, for Star Tribune, that's $100.
Absolutely, you guys.
You go 3 months without showing to them that I do.
Right. And here's the thing, that's kind of the conversation. We weren't sure we were gonna get back there on this, if you only find us, go ahead, it's still fun with it. Actually sell it for what you listed it, or what your intentional listing was, right? Where you said, hey, it's gonna take 4 months for us to get it sold at this price, realistically, right?
Because we had popcorn houses that would just pop, and you'd have sleepers that would just sit there. And then you finally get someone to walk through, and they buy it. Oh my God, this is fabulous. It's
Absolutely. So guys, know your markets and be constantly aware of the fact that things are changing. If you're having conversations with your people right now that are out of sync with where the market is, it's gonna mean that you're gonna have some frustrated people, right? All right, coaching moments with Carla. Carla, come on up. I'm gonna take so, Kate, KR and Carla. Are you guys all familiar with Carla? Raise your hand if you're familiar with Carla. Okay, so Carla is the preeminent, the number one coach. I'm just giving her titles now for Michael Mayer's 7-Level Communication. How many of you have read 7L? Okay, great. How many of you are employing 7L tactics in your business? We got a couple. We got like a half up, half down. Yep, up, kind of. In case he calls up, yeah, I can say I was stretching too. Right, you're just stretching it out. No, I here's the thing, you guys, is there's a lot of opportunity in our business. There's a lot of coaching. There are a lot of people that are telling you, hey, try this, do this. There are two models that we support here consistently. The first one is what? The first model that we support for real estate, MREA, in its entirety, right? The second one is the 7 levels. In that, when it was designed, it was not designed to be the extension of the MREA realistically on how you talk to people, how you communicate with people, and how you move from transactions to relationship, right? So Carla has offered us, we launched this class in what, first quarter? Early first quarter. We had about 25 people that were with us the first couple, well, through the 7-month deep dive, really through the first 3 or 4 months of this. We are relaunching 7L deep dive right now, and we're a little bit light on attendance or people who are committed to this. So here's the thing, if you are not enrolled right now, how many of you are not enrolled? Raise your hand. Okay, if you are not enrolled, this is an opportunity for you to continue to work on your business at a time. I don't think that there's a more important time for any of you to be in an action where you're learning how to do the things that is being taught from this. Carla, tell us a little bit about what you learn in the 7-level deep dive that can immediately be implemented and affect your now business.
Absolutely. Well, first, if you don't mind, I want to ask a couple questions just to make sure I'm in the right spot here. How many of you prefer to run your business based off a relationship? You like to have relationships with your clients, your past clients, your future clients? Okay. How many of you are just transaction based? I see the dollar sign, come in, come out, don't care if I have a relationship with you after. Okay, this is for those of you who like to run a business through relationships. Now, what you're going to get from this training, I'll promise you this, it's not going to be your normal same, oh, I have to listen to the same thing over and over and over again, right? I promise I bring a lot of energy, sometimes maybe some, sketchy language, sorry. It's a lot of fun, and it's tactics that you can put into play right away without spending money, purchasing more technology, purchasing this and purchasing that. You can implement this immediately, and I'm all about ROI. Yes, we want relationships, but we also want income, right? We're not in this just to volunteer. So it's strategies you can put into place and get an ROI immediately. So right now is the time of year that we're talking about business planning, right? And so we're looking at 2024. Now we're looking forward to 2025. How many of you hit all your numbers for 2024? You did the business you wanted, you set forth to do, or you exceeded it? Not a single hand. And you know what? You're not alone. That's not surprising. But now is the time to reflect on what 2024 was, and what are you going to do in 2025, right? Because what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
Right. Do something different this year. Different in your business. Now, I'll give you the secret sauce because I only have a couple minutes, and I'm like, okay, what can I cram into about 5 minutes? Number one, look at the issue you have in your business. Look at any issues you have in your personal life. What's the common denominator? Management. Me.
That's what I mean.
Oh, good. I'm time management. 99.9% of our issues
is because we didn't use our time the way we were supposed to. How many of us go through every single day going, I know what I should be doing, but I'm still not doing it? Some days, a lot of days. Hey, I'm human too. We need to have good discussions about this. And what 7L does is it brings practice systems where we will break this down and we will help you through the things that you're not doing that you should be doing, the things you don't want to do, the things you're allergic to, like paperwork and lead gen. How do we break that cycle and start implementing things immediately for an ROI?
One of the things that you talked about in one of the videos that we created, that we did, don't the other, was how many of you make cold calls? How many of you like making cold calls? We talked about this, right? The businesses, you choose your heart. When you choose, when the idea that Carla continues to give, and I will put to you in how we employ this, is that I was her offer about a hot minute, okay? And then she outpaced me, and then they made her the boss. It was weird. My point though, you guys, is the reason that she did this is because she found that there were the same things that were happening. Agents don't want to be told to lead gen. How many of you are sick of being told to lead gen? How many of you are sick of the phrase lead gen? I'm sick of saying it
Exactly. Your phone call.
because it's not fun. It doesn't have to be fun. It doesn't have to be, but is it better when you're having fun and you're doing the things that you like to do?
You have more momentum, more energy. You're probably going to do more of it. There's some enjoyment in it.
Right? Like throwing a Super Bowl party. Maybe I'll let anybody else know that yet. Throwing a Super Bowl party. Throwing what do you call those? Your referral parties, your. But these are the sort of things that when you guys start thinking about making your life about folks, you go from this conversation of I need to call for business and the people know that, to being a place where people call and you're gonna invite them to things. And the invite is so much simpler than asking for business, right? I can easily invite you to a picnic. It's really difficult for me to say, gee, do you need, would you refer me, possibly, maybe, what you refer me for? I don't know, really, actually. Is it easier to do that, or to say, hey, come to this event I'm having, we're gonna be having whatever we're having, we're gonna have a good time, show up and have a good time. It's so much simpler when you have a system that you don't have to grind out the hard stuff. You choose your heart.
Yeah. So, a lot of my teachings are based off of the 7L book. I also have my own spin on it. I am, just so you guys know, because I think it's important, if you're going to listen to someone, who is this someone I'm listening to? Is it worth my time? So the 7L book is from Michael Mayer, who is the #1 most referred agent in the US. Over 500 transactions, referral based a year. So he obviously has some things that work. I've been blessed to be mentoring under him for the last 10 years. I've been training and coaching his systems for the last 10 years. I am only one of 2 coaches right now that coach on his system. And I am also a certified referral trainer. So I've gone through the work as well. I latched onto it because it works, period. It took, you thought it took my business from, Nick's little minty to the top in a very short amount of time. So if you want to do something different in 2025, if you want your business to look different, show up. They're giving you an amazing opportunity. All you have to do is show up. I'll give you all the secrets, all the magic beans and tools you want, right? And just think about that, reflect on last year and look forward, and that is nothing what I was going to do.
We just I just spent all this time putting it. Carla, thank you so much. Well, we have to, well, that is a really good question. Because I'm not going to do a meeting of last year, just Carla and I, because we could go other places and do that. So we are going to get this, but we're going to send out an email, and we want to get as many people in there as possible. And secondly, we're going to be inviting people from outside. We're not sure of the class date yet, because we want to make sure that we get some attendance there. And right now, the last time we had 2 people that were from outside of our brokerage, and I don't want to bring them in if it's just the 4 of us. That seems left of the party. So if you guys are interested, you guys are, please make a note on the Facebook, survey that we're. So that's it.
If you want to also, that means, talk to Cree, talk to Lisa, talk to Isaac, talk to Jen, you know, those that have Jeannie, that have been through my classes, and Becky, Michael was in class as well. I mean, do your homework too.
This 7L different than the one you did before, or is it just the?
Different because it's a different time, different.
We're always different. The topic, the foundation is different. But the conversation is always different, because I have over 100 systems I could give you. I'm not gonna give you all 100, or you're going to be overwhelmed and nothing.
You'll write them down.
So it's always different. And you'll take something differently each time you join them.
All right, well, KP, I appreciate you. We are gonna get back to you with a survey, so you guys can tell us what date and time work, but we're gonna launch this in the next 10 days, because I have 7 weeks long. So, let's get some, so we can get them at the end of the year. All right, thank you, KP. I appreciate you one more time for. Thank you. I want to invite up now, I want to invite up Mary Thompson, Lord, Denise, come on out, y'all. One of the conversations that we're having this morning, or one of the conversations that we have a lot, is many agents start as a part of the name. Need me to work for you out? Yeah, it's like. What is on that? What the hardest things to do, you guys, is to decide you're gonna jump into real estate, right? And then you also have bills to pay on your currency, right? So first and foremost, and then start with you, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in real estate and what you do before?
I got licensed in 2017, and I was in the salon industry previously for 30 years. In the last 12 of those, I owned a salon right down the street from where the Maple Grove office is.
Are you mom?
Hi, so I got my license in 2016, so I've been practicing since it's a full time, but before that I was just working from 9 to 5.
9 to 5. Now you work from 9 to 9. 7 to 9. Go ahead, Grant.
I officially passed 3 years about a week ago, and technically I was unemployed. Yeah.
That's a full-time job too. All right. Oh. When did you make a decision to move into real estate? Grant, we'll start with you.
To keep it kind of short, it was the whole COVID year thing, like lost jobs, transition jobs. A lot of stuff happened throughout that time, and most Sean Corby kind of just stayed in touch like he does and kept recruiting me the entire year and got me courses and go into it. And it just felt like the best option because of him and what I experienced through him. And plus I really needed a job. So also a little bit of it as well, but it was something that gave me the freedom to still do the stuff I was doing at home. Kind of moving forward with life, with getting married that year and moving into a new home and renovating it. It all just kind of worked and made sense schedule-wise.
So in 2016, before that I got a pretty good job as a director at an adult daycare center for 5 years, flexible schedule, makes really good money, but I'm just tired of people telling me what I can and cannot do at my job. And I just feel like I'm so young and I'm just so full potential, and I feel like I'm meant to do something bigger and better for myself. So that's when I decided to explore real estate. I always like business. I just don't know what kind of business to go into. And when I got into real estate, it was my brother too. He was a realtor at that time. He was growing his team. So he recruited me and I thought, hey, you know, why not? I'll give real estate a chance and go from there. The classes are boring. Classes is like tedious. So I was like, okay, I don't know where things gonna take me. But once I got to the field, I feel like it was meant to be. A lot of people doubted me because, I was pretty quiet then, to be honest, an introvert, but, I think it was meant to be, made it happen. So here I am.
I did both jobs for about 2 years. And, because of the close vicinity it allowed me, and then I owned the salon, so I was able to kind of block my time and whatnot. But after 2 years, and I convinced myself that I was ready for it, and, got a couple commissions under my belt and just decided, this is it.
This was the time, right? Most of us find, I think, that if you were doing something else, you eventually realize that the amount that you make per hour in real estate, if you do it consistently, is better than most anything that we have to do, right? In terms of that.
Salon profit margins are 4 to 7%.
She said 4 to 7%, 47%. So that's, right, that's a lot for a little that you have to put in. For real estate, there's a little to put in, the consistency that can generate a lot. So let's talk about the systems or tools that you use to be able to leverage and continue to do both while you're doing it. What systems do you use right now?
Right now, well, I feel like I was actually more organized then than I am now. Because I had to be, so I have a planner and I pull out the scheduled education. I'm an education junkie, so I would pull out my calendar and book in all the classes and make sure that I got those in first, and then I moved clients at the salon if I needed to. And then I eventually just told my staff, like, I'm moving on, so who wants my clients? And here they are, and we'll divvy them out, and my clients were really mad. Yeah, if you've got a stylist you've had for a long time, yeah, they were really mad. I still get comments to this day, yeah.
The per transaction in our business right now is 10.5. So I still see the value, right? So while you were doing it, what kind of systems were you employing so that you were staying on top? Do you use a CRM? Do you use
I actually was a little old school on a lot of paper. When I first started, I was doing note cards on everything, and every lead had a note card. I progressed that into files, but I'm honestly still working on it. The CRMs are a little challenging for me. I outsource an outside marketing company that really is my 36 touch, my advertising and everything. So that is kind of my biggest probably leverage piece right now. But in the beginning, it was just, and I still go back to, I use the bold calendar, paper calendar. I'm a visual, I need to see it. So I really work off of that.
Awesome. Mal, I'm going to ask you the same question. What sort of systems were you using or employing to move from where your business was as a dual career agent?
Yeah, so before coming to Keller Williams, we didn't have the thing where we're not aware of database. I have a lot of data, but there's no database. So right now we're trying to, advance or leverage commands a lot. I think CRM is only as good as you use it, right? So we went through a lot of CRM before, which is KV Core and et cetera. But command is not too bad as long as you use it. We were able to use it to direct to our website, to our Facebook, to TikTok, pretty much a lot. So we utilize that a lot. And I think MREA, the book, has helped us a lot too. So we're trying to clean our database, trying to do the 8x8, 33 and 12 direct touches. Yeah, I think right now just cleaning up the database and utilize it to our max.
Well, what's a little bit different with you is in terms of leverage is you've been employing an admin for a long time in the business. And now you've had some success in that. You've had some things that you had to make some changes, but tell us a little bit about what that looked like as well in terms of the leverage you used so that you could do what you were best at, but you still had somebody that was doing some marketing and some other things.
Yeah, so I've been practicing, we got the foundation down. I think it's just practicing the leveraging route, finding the correct people, like the talents people. And it's a roller coaster for me, trying to find people and, that they're good at one thing, but they're not good at another thing. And finally, we settled on one of the team member, that she was able to be our operation manager, as we call her that, and she pretty much hold the fort. She does everything from, lead calling to, any admin's work to pretty much TCs and everything else too. So I think that that has been working well for me. And then she also does like marketing content, so I don't have to worry about marketing as much as I used to, or editing videos. That's very simple to me. So with that evidence that she does every piece of it, because before that I'd be like, okay, I have one for TC, I have one for, paperwork, I have one to do marketing. And to me, I just feel like there's just too many people to manage. And that's also taking time from what I'm good at. So I don't want to manage people. I just want them to be really good at what they do, cover all fields, and I just didn't manage. So that's what I found out through the whole thing of leveraging.
Well, what I like about that too is for you specifically, Mao, is that you were able to leverage that real quick. What's it called? You were able to grow outside of your comfort range really much sooner than a lot of agents, because you understood that there was a certain number of hours in the day, and there were certain activities that weren't generating you income, right? Editing videos is necessary in your business, but if you spend 4 hours generating, creating, editing, you weren't generating any income, right? And so when you look at Mao's production and you look at what that looks like in terms of implementing, it is an important part of growth, is that you got to think about what growth looks like. A lot of agents get stuck in this, well, I'm going to sell 35 homes and then I'm going to do these other things. And to model for that, what I think I really appreciate about what you guys did is you understood really quickly there were things in the process of being an agent that weren't necessarily introducing.
Just gotta say, please just follow the 7 models that MRA, try to be very creative with it, and if that's that to me. So definitely follow it to the T. Don't try to be creative, don't try to like do things from scratch, just follow it. And now like it's really helping me a lot, just following that 7 models in MRA.
That's awesome. All right, Grant, what about you? What systems or tools? I mean, you guys, as a team, you're using, well, when you were on the team, what other systems are you using right now?
Well, now, with with the handyman stuff, I was not a huge schedule person before. On the team, it was a little bit easier because I had Travis yelling at me all the time, which is great. But now it's just being very, very diligent about scheduling and not overcommitting myself, which is a hard thing to do when it's a tough year in real estate and you have instant money from a handyman job and good money. And so it's hard to not overextend and then forget about your real estate stuff for a minute. And finding a balance between the two has been a little difficult, but at the same time, it also gave me more appreciation for the work I was doing in real estate, and to plug some of what Lynn said, go do your open houses because they are perfect for buyers right now. But even if you don't want buyers, go spend an hour door knocking the neighbors, you will get a listing. Because right now, the neighbors are looking at those other houses, they're seeing them still sell, and they're going, oh, everything's not that bad. We could consider moving. It's most often I have neighbors come in after I talk to them or let the flyer. They come in and start to ask me questions about just selling their home at almost every single open house that I show. And then you have a list of listings, basically, which is a great resource. But utilizing, again, kind of my own leverages of every app that I can find for even my handyman stuff is few and far between, and sometimes it might be, it's super helpful. I've actually just recently kept everything completely separate. I have to carry around 2 phones now, but it's nice because now I have dedicated real estate, dedicated handyman, and dedicated personal life. Because that's a huge part of it. If you guys have seen any of my wife posts that I'm tagging, we go do a lot of stuff, but we just like to be adventurous too, but we have to manage that as well, because that's just as important of a piece, because he's a big part of why I'm doing this and the ability to do all this stuff, because of the support of my wife. But managing for me is the schedule part of it. It's probably the biggest lever that I'm using. Just maintaining a perfect schedule and having notes on everything. And then kind of what Carla talked about, the relationship-based side, because that's where I like to be. Making sure that I am having those conversations, following up with everyone, just helping me stay in tune. Learning Command, has been a little bit of a curve from above. But it's great, because one, it's making me dedicate more time to real estate, because I'm learning it and using those tools. And it's kind of what Mal said, of just using it. It's more in the user themselves and how they're using it. So just get yourself to do it, and then again, find out what parts work for you. Don't force something that you hate doing, because people are gonna notice it too. And then you won't do it as often or do it as well.
All right, last question, guys. What piece of advice would try that again? What piece of advice would you give to dual career agents who are thinking about making the leap into real estate full-time?
I would say, be prepared at the beginning to just give up a lot of time. Because you're going to have, if you want to be, truly do both for a little while, a long while, depending on how long it takes you, you're gonna have to work a lot of hours to make it work so you can find your own routine. Sometimes that might be right away. You might find out what fits, and it might, but at the same time, it might feel good, but it's not necessarily producing income. There's that hurdle to get over as well, but I would say just be prepared to spend a lot of time in it. Be open if you have a spouse, a partner, anything like that, be open with them about how much time it might take and how much away from that other side it will, but eventually it comes around. And set and plan your goals, set steps. Don't just say, okay, when it gets better, because in most of our brains, better never really happens, because you get close to it and you already set a new goal, so better doesn't happen. So set dedicated goals, have them written down, put them by your computer, think about them all the time, talk about them all the time with other people, so that you can, one, enjoy them, but then move on to the next one.
I would say, if you think you can think of it, just do it. Yeah, just do it. When I switched over, it was a leap of faith for me. I didn't have a backup plan. I just knew that, you know, real estate has a better margin than anywhere else. From 9 to 5, I was a florist, so it's very similar to salon. The margin is not as big as real estate. So from evaluations, I just did a leap of faith and just make it happen. Especially when you jump over and you have no income to back you up. That's when you have more drive and motivation to make it work, because you have nothing else but to make it work. So I say just do it, and you'll be proud, you know, of the outcome.
I don't think it's that much different for dual as it is for individuals, just, you know, just going right into it. Or if you need a reset, if you've been in business for a while, you're down. I think it's just, setting some different goals and parameters, knowing the market, where it's at. I love the open house idea, because I think I built a lot of my business on open houses, and just getting back out there and finding out what works for you and diversifying it. I've been investing now. I bought a couple investment homes, and you know, I started late. I was 52. I was only 52. You know, I started late because I'm playing catch up. So I'm just throwing things out and see what sticks and what feels good. And when it feels good, you just dive in deeper and make it happen. And don't make excuses, you know, and failure, what's supposed to failure turn the more you fail, the more you succeed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it correctly, but that's basically the premise. Don't be afraid to fail. It's okay.
Well, you guys, I appreciate you guys sharing today as all of you are finding success that you created for yourself. Can we give our guest thank you, really, guys, thank you so much. If you guys aren't learning from these people, you're missing an opportunity. Reach out, have a conversation, reach out, talk to them, and take them to lunch. All right, we have one last thing, I think. We have one last thing. Yes, we do. BPC, Business Planning Clinic. How many of you have signed up? No, raise your hands if you've signed up for BPC. All right, if you've not signed up for BPC, Alex is in the back. You can sign me up right now. So, you guys, seriously, as Carla said, as Miles said, as Vicky said, and Fran said, you gotta dig in on what is for you, and you gotta jump into this. So we have that, and that's it. The EPC, if you do not have a business plan moving into next year, right now, I'm asking you, what are you doing? This is a great lineup of people, with the exception of at least one guy. Everybody else is a rock star. And so show up and be wowed by having a implementable business plan when you leave. We have about $200 million in overall production. Actually, that's about right. So show up, you guys, we're gonna do something fascinating that day. And then, Sean, do we have anything else right now? All right, thank you to Mark for lunch. There is pizza in the back. Go grab a slice, talk a little bit, and we'll get back to you on when we're gonna launch 7Ls in a survey by the end of the week. So thank you guys. Have a good time. Love somebody.